Good, beautiful morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. And these really are shortcuts for your soul. This channel is all about ascension and awakening. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And I allow the wisdom and the knowledge of the ascended masters and other guides and angels and multidimensional beings to come through to deliver messages to us all about this unique time in human collective unconsciousness. Today I have with me the energy of my guardian angel John, who said he wanted to make one consideration very clear to everybody. Awaken, beautiful soul. Awaken, beautiful soul. And we'll get into that shortly. I hope you guys are enjoying your brand new day. You do realize that every day, every moment is a brand new day, a brand new moment. The only time it seems not to be, the only time we can ever think that it's not a brand new day is if we're remembering yesterday as if it's today. I remember how I felt yesterday, and I remember how to feel that way again today. So it's the same stuff, different day. That's how a lot of people are stuck, disconnected from your soul. It's really amazing. People stay disconnected from their soul simply by being stuck in the memory of their mind all the time. Anyway, it's a great day, and I'm going to give everybody a chance to come on. We live in very wondrous times, and we live, as Charles Dickens would say, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. And we get to see this polarity of our consciousness as a species. Take a moment, let me know where you're from, and what country, what state, what part of the world are you dropping in here from? Leave a comment in the comment section about that. Let me know where you're from. And if you like the content that you hear today, please remember to like, subscribe, share this information with other people. You did not come into this world to suffer. And it's important you know this. You did not come to this world to suffer. You came into this world to learn to create, to be a creator in the image and likeness of the Creator. That's why you're here. And I think everybody knows that they're here to do something, that there's something inside you that's really unique and special. Everybody knows that on some level. And a lot of the messages that we get here are about that, how you actually reconnect to who you truly are. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. You know, my wife and I were up this morning with the sunrise, and we were looking out, and this little tiny bird came flying onto a branch and started just climbing up the branch. And she thought, is that a hummingbird? And I said, no, it's not a hummingbird. It's smaller than a hummingbird. And then the bird flew down low, and we could see that it clearly wasn't a hummingbird. And then she said, you know, isn't it kind of funny how animals don't work for a living the way we do? That all the food that animals need is provided by nature for them. Just think about everything that animals eat, except the ones we've domesticated. Every animal in nature finds its food. If they couldn't find food, they'd be dead, right? So animals are able to thrive and survive with no houses, right? They're able to survive with no cars or trucks. That's pretty special if you think about it. You know, 120 years ago, 80% of the people, 80% of the population grew their own food. Just 130 years ago, 80% of the population grew their own food. And now only 3% of the population grow their own food. And my wife said, wow, does that mean that humans are enslaved to work? It was just a thought she had. And I thought, well, that's pretty fascinating that that we have to work to eat. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but it just seems strange that all these animals around us that live in the forests and in the seas, they don't go out and they don't get jobs. All the food's provided. But why then are we so dependent on the human world? And it's just a question, but why are we so dependent on the human world in order to live? Like, you have to go out and you have to work a job. Some of you work for, 8, 10, 12, 14, some of you 16 hours a day to make certain you have food, a house, clothing, and you pay bills and you pay taxes in order to live. You have to do all those things in order to live. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It can be really fun and exciting when you would do that. But it was just a sentiment that she had, that maybe animals are the ones that are more evolved. They seem to work in perfect harmony with nature. And then of course, my guardian angel John stepped in and he said, it's about mastering creation, not simply being subjective to it. Mastering creation. As your creator made you and all that you know, you may do the same as he. But his goal today was about awaken, beautiful soul. You need to learn to make the distinction. You need to learn to make the distinction between who you are and who the world has made you up to be. You are a beautiful soul, far beyond the littleness of your personalities. You are a beautiful soul. It is time to awaken your beautiful soul, to make the distinction between what you know yourself to be and who you have been made up to be. You've been made up to be the name that was given to that body. You believe that you're made up to be the collection of thoughts and ideas and beliefs that have been given to you by your world. I remember the very first time John came to me, where I consciously heard his voice. And at that time in my life, I was 20 years of age. I'd already attempted to end my life on several occasions prior to that. I'd gone through a very difficult time in my childhood. And it wasn't easy, because I was raised in an environment that was very toxic and filled with anger and lack and fear. And around age 7, a man came into my life that was extremely abusive, both mentally, emotionally, and sexually, very abusive. And I spent from age 7 to age 14 being attacked by this person on a regular basis before I was finally big enough that I could shove him off and fight back. And the thoughts and beliefs and the ideas that my environment gave to me about who I thought I was supposed to be caused a lot of pain and suffering internally. The idea that I was no good, that I was unworthy, that I was just an object for other people to abuse and use. I was raised with that type of treatment. So I formed beliefs, and people gave me beliefs about who he is. Oh, he's just a troublemaker. I was given a lot of beliefs about who I was supposed to be by the environment. And at that point, I wasn't reading, I wasn't studying, I wasn't looking for anything. I was just accepting what I've been told. You're dirty, all kinds of words and ideas that formulated the basis for who I began to think I was. Now, the truth is, I was not those things at all. But I was given those things to believe, and I was given nothing else to believe. So by age 20, this accumulation of these thoughts and more thoughts like them, because whatever thoughts we focus on, we accumulate more. And anyway, John, when I had reached the end of my proverbial rope, so to speak, and was going to certainly would have succeeded in ending my life at that time if I'd taken that one step off the bridge, which I would have done if he hadn't spoken to me. And he simply said, stop, and got me off the bridge. And that call that he got me to make, he said, get off the bridge, go to the payphone at the corner, call this phone number and ask for this man, which I did. I called this phone number and I said, hello, is Terry there? And the voice on the other end said, this is Terry. And I just began to cry and blubber. And I said, I don't have a home. I'm living on the streets. I don't have a job. And I was told to call your number. A voice told me to call your number, ask for your help. And this man took me in with his family. And in doing so, he also offered me a job. He gave me a room at a single room at the top of the 3-story brownstone home in Riverdale, Toronto. And he said there was one condition for me. Now remember, all this is now happening because my guardian angel John has told me to call this phone number. And I get into this man's home for the very first time. And he said, how did you get my phone number? And I said, I was going to jump off the bridge and a voice spoke to me and told me to call you. And he said, that's outrageous. That's not possible. It must have been your own mind. And I was a very nervous and frightened and insecure young man. And he said to me, forget that nonsense, but I will help you on one condition. You have to read one book. And he gave me this book by a man named Dr. Nathaniel Branden. And the book was called The Psychology of Self-Esteem. And I'd never read a book. It was the first time somebody had given me a book to read. And he said, you have to read this book. And at the end of each day, I'm going to ask you about it. And then once the book's completed, I'll give you something else to read. And then he gave me a job at his lighting store in downtown Toronto, where he refitted old antique lighting fixtures that he sold from his store. And I learned how to make light fixtures from Terry. And I'm reading this book for the first time. First time I'm sitting down reading a book, I could read, but I couldn't understand the words much. He said, here, take a dictionary. When he first asked me about it, I said, I can't understand it. I don't know what these words mean. And so he gave me a dictionary, and I started using the dictionary with the book, and I began to slowly build an understanding of what self-esteem was. And there was a line in that book that forever changed my life. And if John hadn't told me to call that number that day, I would never have read that line. It was really amazing because from where I was then, I was into heavy drugs. I was into alcohol. I was living on the streets. I was not a happy camper. But all I knew was what was in my mind, what the world had given me to believe, to think. What my mother, my stepfather, my father, teachers, the people around me, what they thought about me, what they said about me. And I accepted it. So I'm now sitting in this coffee shop at the corner of this street called Queen Street and Broadview in downtown Toronto. And I'm going back to 44 years ago now. And I'm sitting in this shop. It's called Coffee Time Donuts, right on the northeast corner of Queen Street and Broadview. And I'm sitting there reading it. And there's this one line in the book where Dr. Nathaniel Branden makes a quote out of Ayn Rand, this wonderful philosopher from the 20th century, Ayn Rand. And he made a quote from one of her books. It says, the question for man is not to be or not to be. The question for man is to think or not to think. And at that moment, I don't know how it happened, but I suddenly realized that my thoughts what I was thinking was causing what I was feeling. That the thoughts that my mom had given me, the thoughts my biological father had given me, the thoughts my stepfather, teachers, I suddenly realized what I was thinking was where I needed to make the correction. I had this big epiphany, realizing that my thoughts controlled what I was feeling. I ended up reading the rest of that book with great delight. And then from that point on, I think I read everything Dr. Nathaniel Branden wrote that he published. And then I went on to other things like philosophy and theology and psychology. And I began to broaden my thoughts. I began to gain thoughts outside of what I had been taught to think. And my self-esteem began to go up. I was still challenged with addiction. I was still challenged with emotional confusion. But I had an opening that wasn't there before. I had an opening to realize my thoughts. I could choose my thoughts. That was the turning point in a life of what would have ultimately been an abysmal end, splattered on a pavement 136 feet off a bridge 44 years ago. But that one epiphany, realizing I could choose my thoughts. I didn't have to just accept the thoughts that I had been given. I could choose them. And I began to do that. And I hope you begin to do that. My guardian angel, John, he says to me, now it's about awakening. He says to me, I have learned enough. And now it's time to take all that they've been teaching me over the years, because they've been guiding me for many years. I haven't been aware of it until the last 5, where I've had actual divine interventions multiple times in my life. Even before I had that epiphany, I'd faced many life or death situations between ages 16 and 21 that clearly they were divine interventions. And maybe someday we'll get a chance to get into some of those stories. But it's really important that you understand that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are not who you are. This is about what you are. You are not your thoughts. You are not your body. You are a soul. Awaken. The only way you begin to awaken is you start to become aware of the thoughts in your mind and observe them, so that you get to realize most of the thoughts that you're observing probably didn't come from you. They probably came from your favorite television shows or your video games, or your thoughts about who you are came from your teachers or your parents or your friends. And this is going to be a real eye-opener for some of you, that most of your thoughts aren't yours. And something really wonderful will perhaps happen for you, as it did for me 44 years ago. That you can stop and pause and observe your thoughts. Go through a day where you watch your thoughts, and where are they coming from? What's causing them? Who gave them to you? And why do you want to believe them? John says that the process of awakening begins with that single starting point. If he had not told me to get off that bridge and make that phone call, I would never have gotten to that line that said, the question for you is not to be or not to be. The question for you is to think or not to think. And what thoughts will you think? And from where do your thoughts come? And are you willing to question them? Are you willing to begin the process of evaluating the nature and source of your thoughts? Because you can be given thoughts that you're a wonderful and incredible and beautiful dynamic being. And you can be given thoughts that are completely the opposite to that. I was given some pretty low vibrational thoughts about who I was. I used to be called a filthy little pig, you know? I was told I was all kinds of things when I was young. And I believed them for many years, up until that single line of awakening myself to, I could choose my own thoughts. I didn't have to accept the thoughts that have been given to me anymore. And this may be a pivotal point in your mind, and you may be already well aware that you are not your thoughts, that you are not your body. You have a body, you have a mind. But whatever you will get out of this, what's important is that you get out of this what you get out of this. Because John and all your guides, all your angels, the ascended masters, your creator, God, wants you to awaken. Because you are a beautiful soul. You are not the body. The body is just the instrument that you use while existing in this physical dimension. And your thinking mind is just a construction of information you've acquired from this world. It's not yours. You're going to leave this information behind when you leave this physical dimension. You're going to leave that personality behind when you leave this physical dimension. But while you're in this physical dimension, you have an opportunity to begin to remake your mind, to make a new mind, a new personality for yourself. And a lot of people are trying to do this by getting delusional. Well, maybe if I modify my body and I pretend I'm something else, then I'm going to be okay. Is there something wrong with me and I've got to change it on this level? No, the error for most people is not in your body. Your body is a beautiful instrument. The body that you have is a unique, one-of-a-kind manifestation of creation. That's what your body is, a unique, one-of-a-kind manifestation of creation. That's what your body is. It's exquisite. There will never be another one like your body in all of creation. It will only exist for but a single lifetime, and that beautiful form that you're living in and hearing these words through right now will be finished one day. But you've been given that unique organism to learn a function called creation. You've been given that beautiful form as the instrument through which you can function creatively, observe how you cause effects in this dynamic realm of matter, time, and space. You came here to understand and articulate, practice, and master creation by the use of the faculties of your mind and your energy. And what is your mind and what is your energy? There are two different perceptions about what you think the mind is. There's the idea that the mind is simply the collection of information that you have acquired from this world that formulates or constitutes the individualized personality or mask that you believe that you are. As this one here used to believe he was simply William, a collection of ideas and information under the designation of the term William. And in recognizing that was not true, then the individual has to evaluate. You must evaluate then, if I am not these thoughts in my mind, then who am I? Is the next logical question you need to consider. If you can observe your thoughts, then you are not your thoughts, you are the observer of them. Much the same way as you can hold your hand out in front of you and say, that is my hand. That is my hand. But that is not who I am. That is my hand. I can direct it. I have authority over it. It is doing what I think it to do. The same is true for your thoughts, that there are things that you can begin to observe. This is the beginning of you awakening, this recognition of the distinction between your thoughts and what you are as awareness. You see, the journey is not about trying to regulate and moderate and control the behavior of other people. It's learning about how to function, moderate, create, and manifest creations from within the framework of your own consciousness. And until you come to this awareness that you are not those thoughts in your mind, and when you do come to that awareness that you are not those thoughts in your mind, at that point you can begin to question the truth of a thought, the reality of a thought. For thought is creative by nature. Your thoughts are creative. They influence your body electrically. They influence the actions of your body electrically. And that electrical influence is also called emotion. The nature and quality of thoughts stimulates electrical functioning through your physical organism. And the physical organism then goes into action. The strength of an emotion you embody into a thought, for you can put an emotion into a thought as you see me doing now. And you can take an emotion from a thought. You can take energy away from a thought. And as you do, the function of physiology changes according to the nature and quality of the emotional energy you embody into a thought. So you can regulate and moderate your energy deliberately and intentionally. And that moderation in your emotional energy by the way you structure thought, because thought creates a corresponding electrical energy or emotion that works through the body when that thought is imparted to it. And that emotion can be one of excitement and joy, or it can be one of sadness. That you, as you awaken to the realization that thought is something you are able to utilize in order to function creatively in this physical dimension, to produce observable experiences and effects in your life. And that all the thoughts that you have in your mind at this moment of your creative process in this physical dimension, that all of the thoughts that make up the structure of your mind produces all of the energy that is manufactured into the experiences that you are having right at this moment. And that what you're giving attention to in your mind right now is creating a specific condition of feeling. What you think about what I say, you are creating an energy and emotion around it. And this exchange of thought between yourself and the others around you works in the same fashion, that when you transmit a thought to someone, what you put into that thought, you can put fear into a thought, you can put love into a thought, you can put joy into a thought, you can put compassion into a thought, you can put curiosity into a thought, you can place into thought qualities of emotion that become energies that incline your body to act in very precise ways towards health, towards disease, towards life, towards death. The nature and quality of the thoughts that you're holding in your mind bear fruit as the experiences in your physical world, all of you individually and collectively. All of you individually and collectively are creating your experiences. And that is what you came here to learn to do, to create. But the awakening of your soul begins the moment you start to observe your thoughts and recognize which thoughts are thoughts that will serve your life and which thoughts will diminish your life, which thoughts will strengthen your body, which thoughts will weaken your body, which thoughts will incline you to do and be the things that will sustain the function of your consciousness while you exist here in this dimension. For the nature and quality of your thoughts will determine very precisely conditions of health, conditions of disease, what you shall eat, what you shall drink. For if you shall proclaim a thing that this is good, then you are more likely to engage in it, because the idea of the thought that it is good will incline you to go towards that which is good. So you may decide that a certain thing that you eat might be good, but it might actually not be good for you, but you decide it is good, and so you will eat it, all the while harming your body, because you have proclaimed that which is not good to be good, and your body will not question you. It is your loyal servant. Your body will never question you. It will simply carry out your instructions. Awaken, beautiful soul, I say to you, in this process of beginning to evaluate the function of thoughts, the energy of thought, the nature of what you embody into your thoughts. You are an infinite spectrum of consciousness as a soul. You are a finite spectrum of consciousness while you are in a physical body. You are down to a finite perspective of perception rather than the infinite perspective of perception. But in this finite place, you get to understand the nature of creation and your role in the function of creator while in this physical dimension. And to awaken, you must begin first to evaluate thought, to evaluate its meaning and its energy, more importantly. For what you shall speak and what you shall think will ennoble you and the world around you, or it will destroy you and the world around you. And if you begin to recognize that much of the thoughts that you harbor in your mind are not even yours, that they require some editing on your part, then you begin to awaken that point where you begin to question the thoughts, the beliefs, the ideas that you've acquired from this world. You are beginning to awaken. You have begun on the first step of what we call ascension. Ascension is elevating your consciousness from being simply under the illusion that you are just a physical body, or that you are just a collection of information and experiences garnered through your 5 physical senses. You are a soul able to utilize the function of thought, energy, and matter in the act of deliberate creation in this physical dimension. You are able to do this. Every one of you is able to do this, to remember that you are a function of creation, deliberately so. And when I came to William today, it was quite simply to articulate the first step in awakening. Now, there are those of you that are here, of course, who are very well understanding that you are not your thoughts and you are not your body, but these are instruments that you have a responsibility over, much the same way you might have a car or a truck or a home, that you must be responsible to maintain it and ensure that it functions correctly. That your body and your mind are vehicles that you must learn to regulate and moderate. And if you are not taking care of them properly, then there are going to be things that may not be so pleasant that you experience. If you do not change the oil on your car, then your car will have problems. If you do not put fuel in your car will have problems. If you do not maintain it, it will have problems. And it is simply that. But in this process of awakening, where you begin to evaluate your thinking mind, why do I eat this food? What makes me think I should eat this food? Where did I get the idea that I should eat that or that or that? Where do I get my ideas about what I eat? Where do I get my ideas about what I drink? Where do I get my ideas about what I say and do? Where do these originally come from? And you cannot know that until you begin to evaluate. And once you begin to evaluate, you start to awaken. And once you start to awaken, you start to remember. Once you start to remember, we start to connect with you. Once you begin to remember, we will begin to connect with you, even in this fashion here. But we are all around all of you. You cannot see us with your physical eyes or hear us with your physical ears, but we are with you, hosts of angels, what you would call divine entities. Your team, if you like, that you can learn to become aware of our consciousness around you and avail yourself of the wisdom and knowledge that is readily available to all beings in this physical dimension. It is not available for a select few, it's available for all of you. The information of love and the information of fear, how to be of the divine and how to be not so divine. There is good and there is evil. There is right and there is wrong. And each of these polarities of consciousness, when you begin to understand them, which you will begin to understand them as you awaken to this observational position of watching thoughts, recognizing the nature and source of your thoughts. Because what you're experiencing in your life right now is a composite of all the thoughts that you've acquired and all of the emotional energies that those thoughts stimulate. Some of you might call those thoughts beliefs. But whatever you hold in your consciousness, in your mind, your life is that which you hold in your mind. And when you change what is in your mind, which you may carry the old thoughts out of your mind and release them, and you may bring in new thoughts in your mind. But in this place of awakening where you begin to evaluate, then you can start to bear witness to the change of creation that you yourself can execute. And we are prepared to offer you what guidance and assistance you are open to receiving. But you must first awaken sufficiently enough that you can consider something more than what you already know. And in order to consider something more than what you already know, it's important that you begin to realize you are not your thoughts. You have thoughts. Thoughts can be changed, released, renewed, replaced. And as you begin to articulate and recognize, oh, this thought that is in my mind causes in my body a feeling that is not good. This thought in my mind causes me to feel good. Then you become consciously more selective about what you will allow the mind to think. Because once you allow a thought in the mind, the thought that once it enters the structure of the physical brain produces an energy. The momentum of the function of thought, when it enters the physical structure of your brain, produces an electrical function called energy. If I say to you, you are exquisitely beautiful, there is a vibration that goes with those thoughts, and that vibration goes into the physical ears of your body. And that vibration coming in through the ears impacts your physical brain and stimulates an energy. And you may feel good, or if you do not believe that you are beautiful and amazing, you might feel rather strange to believe that you are something other than what you've been taught to believe. But once you begin that process of evaluation, of observation, you've begun to awaken, and we can work with you. Your human world is not the only place in existence. The physical dimension perceptible only to your 5 physical senses is not the only existing reality. You must know this, some of you at least, that your sciences of today can only measure what they can observe with the senses of the physical form. They cannot observe what is beyond the form because they're simply observing through the form. One must be able to move their awareness to realms of perception that do not require the physical eyes or physical ears to see. And this has been spoken of in many times. You have eyes but cannot see. You have ears but cannot hear. And you find yourself now needing to hear and needing to see what you cannot see and you cannot hear. And in order to do that, you must take these first steps to begin to evaluate your thought, to observe it, to question, where did I acquire these thoughts? From where did this thought that I am no good? From where did this thought that says I'm amazing? Where did these thoughts originate? Did you give those thoughts to yourself, or were they given to you? How many of your thoughts are actually yours? How many thoughts were you given by the world around you? And I would say to you, almost all of them have been given to you by the world around you. And those individuals on your world that stand out from everyone else, that seem to be, some of you say, better than you, but we would simply say that they're more aware of this other realm. They're open to ideas and information beyond what they know, beyond the confines of their own minds. They are open to that. And therefore they can receive that which they do not see with their eyes or hear with their ears. And you too may begin this process of ascension. And it begins with this single step: to begin to observe and evaluate your thoughts. Question from where they come, and if they are good for you or not. Are they good for your neighbors? Are they good for your creation? Because your thoughts are the function, the cornerstone of what you will create in this physical dimension with your physical bodies, as thoughts with emotions cause actions of the form. When you get excited, your body has no choice but to react and respond to the energy of that thought. When you are sad and unhappy, your body has no choice but to react to the emotional energy of that thought. Your body is a reactive instrument designed to follow your instructions. And those instructions are in the form of thoughts and emotions. Whether they're your thoughts or somebody else's, the thoughts of somebody else put in your own mind can affect a similar change in your physiology. You watch your so-called entertainment and you get excited and you get fearful and you get sad in watching your shows. And you're controlled, your own biology, your own mind is controlled then by something outside of you. Thoughts that come to you can control you or free you. Thoughts that come to you from the world around you can enslave you or they can free you. They can lift you up or bring you down. You are not your thoughts. You are a soul, a spirit of universal light. The expanse of your consciousness over time and space is far faster than you can know in that individual lifetime that you're experiencing right now. That body that you're hearing these words through right now is but a finite spectrum of an infinite understanding of what you truly are. But in order to remember what you truly are, you got to begin to awaken to that. And for some of you, the journey could be long and arduous, this process of remembering that you are a beautiful soul. And for some of you, the journey can be very short. And for some, somewhere in between. With this one, it took him nearly 39 of your earth years to finally get to the place where he could hear us freely and clearly and be a conduit for information that so many of you have called forth. And yet, all of you are the same in the function that you may also avail yourself of the infinite spectrum of information that could certainly enhance you and give you a deeper understanding of your role in your function over creation as a creating intelligence, as a creative being. It does not have to take so long. In truth, the existing collage of thoughts that humanity has garnered together, what you have all brought together collectively in thought, is what you observe in your worlds today, in your civilizations, in your cities, in your towns. You see the composite of all thinking that all humans collectively put together, and you see it dancing around you as the wars and the famines. You see it dancing around you as possibilities and wonder and innovation. You get to bear witness to these processes of creation that each and every one of you is an intricate and intimate part of, whether you know it or not. Whether you sleep on the streets or you live in a castle, each and every one of you is contributing collectively to the process of creation here. Because you are all in the image and likeness of a creator. And so you are here to create in that image and likeness. And the mechanisms of creation are your thinking. Your thinking and your feeling are the elements of your creation. Awaken, beautiful soul. It is time to begin to, in earnest, return home to love. In order to understand that, you must learn to recognize what in your thinking mind is no longer of love. What thoughts do you need to release from your mind, from your body? What thought nurture, empower, uplift, and heal you? Remove the thoughts from your mind that debilitate and diminish you. I remember when I first spoke to this one on that bridge, I had been with him for many years before, whispering in his ear that no matter what difficulty he was going through, he would survive. And when he heard me on that bridge for the first time, his journey began in earnest. Hear these words. Let your journey begin in earnest now. Do not delay. No matter how great or proficient you may be in the usage of thought and reason, there's always more for you to become. Closer to the light, closer to the function of love, closer to the function of cherishing, honoring, and respecting life. Or you may, of course, as many of you are unconsciously doing, fall down into the abyss of evil and darkness and fear and judgment, cruelty. The choice is yours to awaken, to hear these words and realize you are a beautiful soul. And I call upon you to awaken. This is the time of ascension where you may choose to be of love or be of fear. There's no Mr. in between. You choose either love or you choose fear. Many of you will find yourself vacillating back and forth between the two in the beginning, where you begin to evaluate thoughts. Oh, this thought came from that movie that I watched, that I can't trust anybody. Oh, and this thought came from my dad, said, oh, the rich people are all bad. And this thought came from my friends that said, no, everybody's against me. You begin to question the nature of your thoughts and the emotional qualities that those thoughts stimulate in your physical organism, and what actions those thoughts will compel the body to do, because the body will simply carry out the emotional energy that you hold into it, even if that emotional energy is detrimental to you. Even if your thought is going to harm your body, then your body will simply comply. Your body is your servant, not your master. You must awaken, beautiful soul. You are so beautiful when you know that. When you know that, you will know that. But the awakening begins at the moment you begin to differentiate yourself from the thoughts in your mind, and you begin to weigh and measure which thoughts are good and which are less good. And you begin to sort your house out. Much the same way that many of you say that God will come and sort the wheat from the chaff. You must do the same with your own mind. You must sort the wheat from the chaff and recognize what thoughts are of love and what thoughts are of fear. What thoughts are of goodness, what thoughts are of destructiveness. What thoughts are of kindness, what thoughts are of cruelty. You must sort your mind out. Your mind cannot sort itself out. Or you can let your mind be sorted out by your world, by the others around you. But if you choose to do so, be very mindful of whom you will allow to sort your mind out on your behalf. Be careful to whom you shall listen and why. Carefully feel the vibration of their words. If their words are of anger and fear, then the energy of expression will, of course, be violence and suffering, as the nature of anger and fear has a very specific and precise function in creation, just as the function of compassion and kindness and love and patience have their energetic effects that are expressed through your physical organism. Now, before I complete this time with you today, let me offer you a first step in awakening your beautiful soul. I mean, in truth, you are already awake. You just have to recognize that you are. In order to recognize what you are, you have to recognize what you are not. Because the moment you observe what you are not, you will remember what you are. It goes together. So I invite all of you that are here with us today, quite simply, to take a deep breath. Feel your body, because your body is the instrument that you're here to utilize and place your energy through to affect creation. Have your body breathe deeply and fill your lungs completely. And when you exhale, give your body a chance to relax. Give the body permission to relax. Allow the body to relax. Use your authority over your body and allow it to relax with your breath. In this function of breathing slowly and giving your body permission to relax, in this function, you begin to restore peace to the body. And simultaneously, because you're giving the body permission to relax, and you're saying and thinking to the body, relax, that thought, the word relax, when you bring it into your physical mind, the energy of the word begins to also calm your mind. Relax. So you breathe slowly, you breathe deeply, you give the body permission to relax, and you repeat that to every muscle, to every nerve, to every organ, every gland. Relax. I give you permission to relax as I breathe. Relax. And each time you effect that action towards your body, as you bring that thought intently into your mind to relax, you're bringing the energetic substance into your mind, which causes the body to relax. And likewise, the mind begins to grow quiet automatically. And you can continue to breathe slowly and gently, allowing your body to relax fully and completely. And then, as you continue to breathe and allow the body to relax, consistently, if it gets restless, relax. Give it permission to relax. It is okay to relax. Give it permission. And you can continue to gently speak those words. The body, relax, be still, be quiet, be peaceful. Continue to allow your body to relax, and then bring your attention to the place of your thinking mind or the place where you have emotions that may be going on still, and breathe into that space where thought and emotion live. Breathe into that space as if you can draw your breath into your mind. And when you exhale, you give the mind, the emotions, permission to be still. You think the thought to the mind and emotions, be still, be quiet, be peaceful. You are safe at this time. Continue in this fashion, gently and slowly, to draw your breath in. And as you exhale, give the body and the thinking and feeling mind permission to be still, to be quiet, to be peaceful. Continue gently in this fashion and observe how you, as you direct your mind and body in this way, become aware of how your body is beginning to feel. You might feel a slight tingling sensation in it. You may be feeling calmness and peace that you may not have felt before. And these are effects of what you're directing your body to do with your breath. Relax. And for some of you, this will happen very quickly. And for some, you may need to apply the process to teach your mind and body to be different than the way the world has fabricated them into being. But the function of thought, be still, be quiet, be peaceful. I am with you. Relax, be still, be quiet, be peaceful. I am with you. And you think and you speak thusly to your own mind and body. And they begin to respond to you. And in that moment where you begin to feel your mind and body relaxing, and the peace that can come to you through persistent and gentle reapplication of the breath, will begin to awaken you to the fact that you are not your thoughts. You are aware of them. You are not the body. You have it, and it is responsive and reactive to your thoughts, to how you direct it, to breathe slowly, to breathe deeply. What you think to the mind, to be still, to be quiet, to be peaceful. Each thought you bring into your mind brings its own unique energy into the mind. And that energy goes into what you call your nervous system. That your mind becomes still, quiet, peaceful. And this is the beginning of ascension, when you come to the realization that you can deliberately and intentionally influence and affect over the energy within your body, the stuff you call emotion. That this deliberate and precise interaction with your body will affect very specific changes in your experience of both your mind and body. And in this, you begin to awaken. In this, you begin to choose a different path. In this, you will begin to remember who you truly are, that you are not simply a collage of thoughts given to you by the world around you. Awaken, beautiful soul. You are not of this world, but you are in this world. And you have the capacity to orchestrate very specific and precise changes as functions of creation that you yourself came here to learn how to create, to manifest your experiences. That your experiences may be of love and your experiences may be of fear. Your experiences may be good or not so good, but that you, in the core of your being, as you are as a soul, are able to manifest or manufacture experience for yourself, and not simply dine at the table that others will tell you to dine at. Do not simply imbibe any thought or idea without thoroughly inspecting it. That any thought that should come to you should be inspected carefully. Is this thought beneficial for me? Is what I hear, is what they say, is it beneficial to who I am and what I will create in this world? And for those of you that have ventured deeply enough into this process with me, then you have a slightly different understanding of yourself than the world has given you. And I and many others are here in this world, visible and invisible, to aid you. And there are many of those in this world, visible and invisible, who are here to enslave you. Because there is polarity, there is good and there is evil. And you get to choose what table you will dine at today. And in every moment, you get to choose and decide where you will eat and what you shall eat. And I speak not of just physical food, I speak of what you will eat in your mind. Thank you, John. So that's my guardian angel, John, folks. I love him very, very much. He is an amazing being. And I'm so grateful that he's in my life. And I'm so grateful for many of the others that are in my life, such as him, Master Jesus, Buddha, many others. And they're available to all of us. You have guardian angels. You have beings that will guide you and cherish you and give you inspiration. And I hope you pursue that. If you want to know more about connecting to your guides and angels, go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and check out our 101 masterclass on awakening. Sign up for that class. Learn the steps that you can take to begin to connect to your guides and angels. There's not just the world of man, folks. There's the world of the divine. There's the world of God. There's the world of Buddha and Jesus. There's the world of Archangel Michael, Master Saint Germain. There are beings in realms of perception that you cannot see with your physical eyes or hear with your physical ears. And there's simple, easy to follow steps that you can take. Tools that we give you in our masterclass that you can use to open up these faculties of perception that everyone was born with. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance. You know, a lot of kids when they're young, you know, they play with things like they practice mind reading, right? Let's guess what's on the card. There's a real power to that. But by the time most people reach 7 or 8 years old, you're so convinced that the world around you is the only real world that you forget that's that invisible world, the invisible world of God, the invisible world of the masters. And I invite you to sign up for our master classes. February the 9th is when our 2024 season begins. That'll be February the 9th, March the 9th. Go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com. You'll see a link under any of my videos, or you can go to my Linktree link in my bio. If you want to have an immediate connection to your guides and angels, if that's what you're looking for, then book a reading with me. Again, you can use the Linktree link in my TikTok bio, or you can use the links under any of my videos on my YouTube channel, or just go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and book a personal reading with me, half hour, 1 hour. It's a really simple, easy to follow process. You'll receive an email that explains to you how you need to prepare for your reading. And you can also take our master classes, where you will be given a step-by-step process. You will work with other instructors who are also professional mediums that have awakened themselves. They awakened their souls. Other healers and teachers that work with us. And it's over a 3-week period, from Sundays to Fridays. And every day there's a new lesson. 1 hour on Sundays, 2 hours on Mondays, an hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and 2 hours on Wednesdays and Fridays, where you will learn about meditation. You'll learn about how to use tools, cards. You can use cards. We use external devices to teach you to open up internal faculties. Now, for those of you that have this belief, this illusion that that these instruments, things like cards or pendulums and Ouija boards, that these things are evil, I want to correct you on that. If you are choosing to connect to a low vibrational energy, and we go into this a great deal, where you learn about the difference between a high vibrational food, a low vibrational food, a high vibrational thought, a low vibrational thought. The vibration that you're vibrating at is attracting the experiences that you have. And you will get exposure to what you need to do, what you need to practice in order to raise the vibration of your body and raise the vibration of your thinking mind. Because if you're of a low vibrational energy, then you're going to attract low vibrational beings. And the tools that we use are in the context of attracting and connecting to higher vibrational beings like Jesus, or your guardian angels, or God, or some of the other deities that exist in different realms of consciousness. We are a high vibrational program where you will lift yourself up. You will learn to awaken. So I highly encourage you to sign up for that. Only about a month and a bit to go for now. So sign up sooner rather than later. But yeah, we will take some questions, guys. And thank you for coming up. Really appreciate it. Yeah, good morning. Hi. So I'll wait until people start asking questions here. For now, I'll just, yeah, so I hope you're really getting it. We've got a question from Blaine here. Could you explain what it means to rest in awareness and to detach from the material world illusion? Great question, Blaine. In that process that John was taking us through, where he's having us breathe and he's having us relax the body. In order for your body, when you direct your body to breathe, this is what I learned anyway. When you tell your body to breathe, and you go, breathe, and you tell it to relax, you're actually assuming authority over the body. Just by that function of breath. Once you're assuming authority, you have control, even though it might be to a small degree. But in this process of assuming authority, you begin to break free of subjectivity of the body. So now the body is now following your instructions. Breathe in, breathe out. Now the body's following your instructions. So your awareness is now directing the body. In that second step where he had us breathe our breath, draw the breath into the mind where all your thoughts and your emotions and memories are, and you breathe into that space, and you're directing the mind to be still, to be quiet, to be peaceful. When he's having us do that, in almost every meditation the ascended masters, the archangels do in our master classes, because they channel through me. So you might have Master Jesus or Buddha, or you might have Archangel Michael, you might have Master Saint Germain. Will give a whole meditation and process. And what they do when it comes to the mind is the same thing. You breathe into the space of the mind, and when you exhale and you're saying to your mind, be still, be quiet, be peaceful, that's you now asserting a new vibration in the mind, because those thoughts, as John said earlier, every thought has an energy to it. When you bring it into the mind, when you think it, the moment you think the thought, you're actually bringing a thought into the physical brain. And that thought stimulates an electrical energy, as he said, that produces emotion. And so when you bring in thought, be still, be quiet, be peaceful, you're now directing the mind the same way you're directing the body with the breath. Relax with the breath. You're using the breath to relax the body, keeping it relaxed, letting it relax more, and then doing the same thing with the mind. Be still, be quiet, be peaceful. And you repeat that process. As you do that, you begin to differentiate. As your mind and body become quieter, calmer, and more peaceful under your direction using the breath, then you begin to become this awareness that is able to observe your thoughts, observe your memories, observe your emotion. Now you're the observer. You know, J. Krishnamurti talks about the observer self and what that actually is. And you want to consider that the moment you start to observe your thoughts, you are not your thoughts anymore. I remember the very first time I realized that. The very first time I realized I'm not my thoughts, that they were given to me by my mom, my dad, and everybody else, that I'm not most of my thoughts, and I started to change them. That was long before I knew my guides and angels were there. Yeah. Where's this question? Yeah. So that point where the mind and body are still in quiet, that's where you're in awareness. And you can just simply be aware that you are aware, just reflect on being aware. in that place where you reflect on awareness, being aware, you start to feel a different energy, because then at that point you start to gain access to other realms of information. That's all. They're telling me that's all to say about that right now. I got a super chat here on YouTube. Hi, William. Am I moving to Illinois by April? I'm getting a resounding yes on that. I'm getting a resounding yes. It's something you need to do. Do not leave a question about this, or you will create unnecessary delay. If you leave a question in your mind about this, you will create unnecessary delay. Prepare ye the way now. Yeah, they're saying like, yes, yes, yes. Go for it. Really do that. Get into it. Someone's asking, will I get another grandbaby this year? I'm getting a yes and no for that. And that, to me, yes and no means that it's going to be kind of in the middle. I know it sounds strange. It's not going to be right in the year, but I'm getting like a yes and no. It's kind of like half and half. So I think, yeah. So there's a very good chance that this could happen on the cusp of the end of this year and the beginning of the next. It might actually go into it. So it'd be very interesting to see. But it's a yes and no. The baby will be conceived this year, they're saying for sure. But it might not be brought into this physical dimension this year. Aren't children wonderful? You know, we're so blessed that that women can be this sacred space that souls from non-physical dimensions can come into this reality to have the opportunity to experience what it is to be a physical form and to create. So congratulations. Anyway, much love to you and your family. Children are such a miracle. They really, really are. And so are women. Men are miracles too. Yeah, I get that. Can I ask, someone's asking, can I ask your angels if I'm on the right path? They're saying you're slowing it down. They're saying you're slowing down by not, yes. Meditation. Let us come to you in meditation. It is important you understand the deliberateness of your mind and body being not the source through which you formulate your decisions. You must become very conscious, independent of your thinking mind, so that you're not making decisions that will cause you further delay. In this regard, you are on the right path. All of you are. But you want to make certain that you don't walk in the bushes to the side. Meditation will be very useful for you now. Truly being in that place where you divest yourself of the constant distraction of your mind and your memories. Give time to divest yourself of those distractions, to be in what the other one said, a place of restful awareness where you connect to what you truly are. And in that moment where you realize, I am not my thoughts, I am not my emotions, I am awareness. In this place, information, guidance, and what you require that you do not know will come to you much easier in this world and from us as well. But you are ultimately on the right path. The question is, are you going to delay the journey by your stops? Right? That's really cool. Leslie Grace is asking if there are any healthcare providers in Quebec that will help her, since the criminals in the region caused traumas. Well, Leslie, first of all, I want to say that your suffering is just a manifestation. I want to be honest with you here. I'm not a medical professional, and so I cannot give you healthcare advice in any sense of the word, but I can tell you this from my own experience, that when I began to, in earnest, especially these last 5 years when they all began to speak to me, that there's certain things that I had to do. It's certain things I had to think, certain things I had to eat, certain things I couldn't do that would restore my body and my mind so that I could carry out the purpose. And you're in a similar position. So my personal suggestion to you, to become your own provider of health for you right now until you find something that is suitable to you, is to learn the practice of meditation. Okay, I will. So I've got Yogananda just came in and said, study Kriya Yoga. For you, study Kriya Yoga. It is the way to your truth. He's saying that it's the way to your truth. Kriya Yoga, it's the way to your truth. It may not be for everybody. It is certainly the way for your truth. And then you will know who the true healthcare practitioner is. When you go within to that which you are, you will know the great healer is within you. Thank you, brother. Felicia God says, I got it. I am moving back. I am moving back in April. Thank you, William. Thank you. Thankful you're still with us in the physical. You've helped tremendously with my own journey. Grateful for you. Thank you so much. I wish I could take credit. I literally am a spiritual medium. Much of the information that comes through me literally from the Ascended Masters. You can watch that in the masterclass. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, I bear witness to it each time I come live, whether it's my guardian angel John or Jesus or Buddha or a guardian angel. I'm an honored and privileged that the wisdom of these beings can flow freely through me, and that wisdom and knowledge can flow freely through anybody. You know, Jesus says it all the time. Look inside yourself. I'm paraphrasing, okay? But he basically says that the kingdom of God, of everything, of all things, is within you. Buddha said the same thing. You know, you must get detached from the world and go within. And every Vedic master, every yogi says the same thing. And if you ever want to know more about what your path and your journey is, book a reading with me. Go to my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com, book a reading. And connect your guides, connect your angels, or at the very least, you'll receive the information that you need to receive at your life at this time to move forward. I cannot tell you how many times I've had things happen where people come and it's amazing. They'll get so what in a reading happens is you pre-write your questions before you even come to the reading. You get an email that says you got to write at least 10 questions out, and you bring those 10 questions to the reading. And 9 out of 10 times, those 10 questions are often answered by about halfway through the reading. Yeah. Even before you ask, the questions will be answered. And isn't that funny? Because Jesus talks about that too. And he says, even before you ask, my Father have knowledge of these things, right? So these beings live on a level of consciousness upon which they can provide you information that's not available in this world. And I've watched people heal from sickness. I've watched people return to joy. I watched families heal. I watched people that couldn't walk. It's such an honor and a privilege to be a vehicle for this. And the truth is, everyone can be a vehicle for love. You can be a vehicle for love, for wisdom, for truth, for compassion, for kindness, for creativity, for excitement, for joy. And everybody is a medium. Everybody's a medium. You're either a medium for love or you're a medium for fear. Right? I'm so glad that it helped you out. Really am, Leslie. Thank you so much. You too, Lisa. Um, will my clairvoyance come in stronger soon? Yes. Take our master classes. Everybody possesses these faculties. You were born with these faculties. You were born to have clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and claircognizance. They're the eyes that are not eyes but see. They're the ears that hear, but they're not ears. And everyone is born with these clairs, these faculties that allow you to comprehend and perceive information beyond the physical dimension. Intuition, gut feeling, different terms have been given for it. Intuition, gut feeling, I just know it, I got a hunch. There's different ways that people refer to these clairs, but every single human being has them within them. Unfortunately, most people were so trained by the environment that your attention did not go inward to develop those things, even though they were there. Most of people's attention when you were born didn't go to who you are inside or what you are. Most parents don't know about telepathy between them and their children. So the whole world captivated your attention by what you see and hear and smell and touch and taste. You became so fascinated with the world that you walked away from those other gifts that you naturally have inside you. They never got developed. Sight, sound, touch, taste, motion, physical reality got developed at the expense of your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your clairsentience, your claircognizance. They never got a chance to develop. In our masterclass, you go through meticulous practices 3 or 4 times a week, 3 to 4 hours every week. You're practicing these different faculties. You're going inside and you're using tools that force you to go inward, to look inside, past your thinking mind, past trying to be right or wrong, and learning to trust that inside you, as you get past your fears and you get past your doubt, that you'll suddenly start to open and activate these clairs. Because they're there in every one of us. Clairvoyance, which means to see without eyes. Clairaudience, which means to hear without ears. Clairsentience, which means to feel without the senses of the body. And claircognizance, which means to know without any immediate way of knowing. Right? Many great inventors, many great teachers, many great healers use these faculties. You know, even Edison, Nikola Tesla talked about it. You know, the ideas came directly to him. That's claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairaudience. He received it. He was shown pictures in great detail. It wasn't from this world. Things that the idea for the light bulb was inspired, was given, downloaded. The fact that it took him 6,000 attempts to get the light bulb to work didn't matter. The idea, once it's downloaded into your system, once you learn how to be open and receptive to new, powerful, positive ideas, you'll receive them just as equally as you can be open to negative ideas. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and claircognizance does not guarantee that you're going to only receive love. You have to teach yourself to tune into the vibration of love. But our master classes will walk you gently through that process. You'll gain firsthand experience with experts that we have that work with you. And they're beautiful people. And then you'll hear directly from the ascended masters. You'll connect your own guides, your own angels, and you'll open those faculties up. Because everybody has them. Everybody has them. Even our most staunch atheists, even the most staunch atheist, when he gets a new idea, goes, that's a great idea. But he doesn't question that it came from another realm of information that's not of this physical world. Because that would mean you have to give up the illusion that there's another realm of consciousness other than the one you perceive with your 5 physical senses. But there is. In our masterclass, you'll get exposure to these different methodologies for learning how to open your clairs up. But yes, you want to learn to practice and exercise clairvoyance. You do that first by getting the mind and body out of the way. And you'll learn all of that. We'll teach you how to put your mind and body out of the way so that you as a soul are awakened. Like John was talking about earlier, what he walked us through in the breathing process. You know, you will learn from ascended masters, folks, that know way more than we do and are far more wizened in the ways of compassion and kindness, wisdom and truth. And they know exactly what you need, what each of us needs individually and collectively. Very exciting times. Yeah. The breath is beautiful to play with. It is. Am I in the wrong relationship? You already know the answer to that. You know, the challenge with biology, right? You intellectually know that it's not right for you. And yet there's this thing that happens in biology between men and women that's there. It's called procreation, and it's a powerful force to ensure that life thrives. And unfortunately, that drive can cause us to overlook what's good for us. The attraction to that other body is so powerful and compelling that you lose yourself in the body. And you will find yourself choosing to be with people that are not good for you, that have habits that aren't something you honor and cherish and respect. We've all been there. We've all been there. And you have a right to choose. Don't let your body make your choices for you. But also learn to listen to your body, because your body will viscerally tell you, especially women, your body will tell you if something's right or wrong. Even if you have a strong sexual attraction, your body will also tell you that something's not right. I feel this, but it's not right. You need to learn to trust that aspect of yourself. But that's what I've been told to give you. So there it is. There you go. Any guidance from the masters for my highest good? Well, if you've been listening all along, there has been a lot here. There's been a lot here. You're hearing it. You're hearing it. I'm just a medium. I allow information to flow through. I allow it. Everyone's a medium. You can allow things. You can allow good to flow through you. You can allow evil to flow through you. You have choice. But you're receiving it. Hello, Max. Max is asking, hey, William, thank you and John for this message. It definitely goes with what I have been doing with my thoughts. I ignore a thought unless I consciously unless I consciously start the process. That's right. Now I will add the element of observation. Beautiful, Max. Congratulations. Makes a huge difference. Lisa's asking, will my husband's personal injury case settle in March? I'm getting a yes for that. I'm getting a yes, but it's going to be towards the latter part of March, not the beginning, but more towards the end. It's going to look like it's going to be later, but the resolution will come towards the very, very end of March. Yes, that's true. Somebody's saying here, you can ultimately heal yourself. Actually, you cannot heal yourself. The consciousness, the energy that you have access to does the healing. It's important. I'm a conduit for healing. I'm a conduit for information. I'm a conduit for knowledge and wisdom and whatever comes through. But I don't even know how that happens. I can say to the hand, open, close, but something is doing that for me. Something is executing, carrying out that action that I'm directing it to carry out. The act of healing, and Jesus talks about this all the time, is not I, but the Father within that does the work. Many other healers have said, I am not the power. I let the power flow through me. You can allow the power to flow through you in healing, or you can allow the power to flow through you in disease. And what you hold in your mind and what you put in your body will either complement that power or diminish it. If you're thinking, oh, I don't like my life, your life is not going to get better. If you think my life is a beautiful and wondrous experience of existence, and my mind is filled with excitement about it, that very thought alone creates an electrical charge. But that energy is not mine. That energy comes into existence when I choose that thought. So healing is a function of allowing an energy to turn to the pain in your shoulder and go, I love you. I'm with you. I honor you. I cherish you. And how that thinking creates the energy to cause the healing. So the energy that's doing the healing is not who I am, but it's following the direction of my thoughts. So the healer is the consciousness. The healer is the consciousness. And I've watched that healer do wonders with people. When people extend their love to their pain, because love is a very powerful energy. The thoughts of love are very powerful. Thoughts of fear are very powerful. Thought is far more powerful than you realize. And when you begin that recognition of that, wow, I can create this thought of incredible vitality. Oh yeah, I can create a thought of vitality. And when the thought is powerful enough, the energy that is brought into the form causes that effect. I didn't create that energy. My thought brought it into existence. Ask and you shall receive, right? A thought is a request. A thought is a request from this infinite potential of energy. Some call it God, some call it spirit, some call it energy, some call it great spirit, some call it quantum field. Doesn't matter what you want to call it. It's all around you. It's all within you. Yeah, I love Yogananda too. Beautiful man, beautiful soul, beautiful God. So great to see you follow your inner truth. Thank you. Great to see you follow yours. What is the way to my truth and fulfill my purpose for being here, since I have resuscitated? Wow. Hi, Yvonne. Good to see you here. Yvonne, this is a great question. This happens to a lot of people. You're seeing more and more stories of people having NDEs, near-death experiences. I call them near-life experiences. They're not near-death experiences. They're near-life experiences, because you're actually connecting to a source other than your own mind and body, and it wakes you up. And so now you're awakened. Congratulations, you're now awakened. And again, there are several processes you need to go through. The first thing you need to learn to do to find your purpose is to differentiate yourself from who you've been taught to think you're supposed to be. In our masterclass series, you can actually learn that process. Meditation. You've got to purify the mind through meditation. Purify the body through what you eat, what you drink, what you do with your body. You want to elevate the energy up, right? Get it so it's in vibrational resonance with a higher power. You want to make sure your body's in vibrational resonance with a higher power. So a starting point for you would be teaching the mind and body to be still and quiet. Learning to realize that your mind and body are your servants and not your masters. And they are your servants and not your masters. Think about what you can do to your body. You can people pour poison into their body. They go out and eat toxic food, and your body gets sick and diseased. And even though you're torturing and causing your body suffering by what you eat and what you drink, it still does it for you because it's your faithful servant. Your body is your servant, not your master. Why people can do horrific things to themselves, because the body is simply your servant. It'll do whatever you tell it to do, good or bad. So once you realize your body is your servant and that your mind is also your servant, then you learn how to operate the mind and how to get it to be still, to be quiet, to be peaceful, how to establish new thoughts that build an energy in your life that then leads you to your purpose. But once you step outside the thinking mind, once you start to venture outside of the thoughts that the world has given you, the personality you have, this is what they taught me. When you step outside of what you know, you move into the realm of what you do not know. And in the realm of what you do not know, all the information about who you are and what you're here to do becomes available to you. It's not available to you in your mind. That's why a lot of people are really frustrated. Why a lot of people want to, I don't know what I'm here to do. I feel so hopeless. What do I do? You won't find your purpose in what you've been taught. Most of what you taught is not going to lead you to who you are and what your purpose is. Your purpose is to create. But what do you want to create? Most of what you've been taught from television and radio and news and so-called education does not lead you to your purpose. If education and what you've been taught by the world, news and television and radio, and what you've read in books was going to lead you to your purpose, you'd be there. So it's not in the world that you'll find your purpose. It's in your consciousness. It's within you. It's called the revelation, right? Jesus calls it revelation. When you stand before the divine, when you step outside, you close the temple gates, he says. You close the temple gates. Eyes, ears, nose. You pull away from the world. You leave the world behind. You go inside. You quiet your mind. You make your mind and your body a quiet space and wait there and say, I'm open and receptive to knowing my purpose. You know, many people will go to a doctor's office and they'll sit in their doctor's office for 2 hours waiting for the doctor to come, and they won't leave. Got to have my doctor's appointment. And people will do that. But if I asked you and said to you, if you quiet your mind and quiet your body and you go inside there and wait for God to show up, wait for Christ to show up, wait for Buddha to show up, would you wait for them? Would you wait for them in the same way you'd wait in a bank line or your doctor's office or in traffic? Would you have the conscience of mind to do that? Because if you do, you'll find your purpose. There is a purpose for every one of you. You have a reason for being, every one of you. Raison d'être, every one of you has one. Everyone, all of us. And you can choose it or you can allow it to be chosen for you. But if you're going to choose it from the highest source you can. I mean, you trust television, your parents, you trust education, you would trust everything in this world, but you wouldn't trust a higher consciousness. Go into the temple. This is the temple where you need to pray. They tell me that all the time. There is no other temple. You are the temple. Your body is the temple of the living God, folks. It's the truth. Anyway, I'm glad you're on your purpose. You'll find it. Am I allowed to channel Master Maitreya? Yes, absolutely. Let me just tune in for a moment. It's important you understand the nature and quality of your mind and body. They need to be prepared. You must not have the old you in the way. That's what they call the personality, the old self. The personal person that you've been taught to be. You've been taught to be John or Mary, or you've been taught to be Anna, or you've been taught to be Pete. That's an identity the world gave you. There's that personality that you've been trained to be. That's not who you are. It's who you've been trained to be. And yeah, you can get out of that so that you can connect to their energy authentically and bring their energy through. If you got a question, question not being answered, use the super chat feature. Use the link in my TikTok bio, and you can also ask a question that way. If you have a private question, I highly recommend go to my link in my bio on TikTok or under my live videos on YouTube. Click the link tree and ask your question, but make note that the question, mark it private, because sometimes I'll answer them out on live right here, right now, if you want. Definitely, somebody saying definitely humility. An element of humility is required for successful ego dissolution. It's very true, Max. Very true. Someone saying, how many babies will I give birth to in this lifetime? There's too many variables for me to say personally. If I tap into your field, you can have as many as you need to have, but you must understand the responsibility and obligation you have for each one. Do not have children for the sake of your own aggrandizement. If you have children, do so because you are here to facilitate the space that's necessary for that individual to unfold their purpose. The function of parenting is not to make yourself a controller and lord over others. It is to be the pathway, the guardian of the purpose of others, that they may emerge into this world unscathed by it, that they may unfold their purpose. I'm being given the number 3 for you directly, given the constitution of your mind and your personality right now, 3. They're saying if you alter the constitution, that is the quality of your thoughts, how you treat your body, how you think about your world, and the people that you're around can vary that number up or down either way. Right? But I'm told 3 you can have. And again, that number can change depending on variables of your consciousness. Thank you. Great question. Oh, hello, Aurora. Thank you for the super chat. Max is facing a decision. I asked, what would one who loved themselves do? So facing a decision, I ask, what would one who loved themselves do? Can you ask my guide, do I listen to first thought I have or what my mind thinks? What I'm getting immediately from that thought is it's not about self-love. It's about love. Connecting to the source of your life will give the revelation of the truth of that answer for you. You must connect to the source of your life to receive the revelation of the truth. The love of what you speak in your question is very restricted and finite. But the love of that from which you came is infinite. And in that context, you'd be best to pursue that love first. The love that is in every cell of your body, in the beating of your heart. Find that love first. And know that it is your own. And in that sense, when you know that you and he are one, then you'll understand the deeper meaning to your question and the truth of it. But it's important that we answer this the way that we answered this so that there are those that do not misunderstand that loving what you think you are is more important than getting into a communion with the source of your life, which knows far more than you will ever know. Thank you. Oh, thank you for that super chat, Rainbow Warrior. Really appreciate it. Sending love from Australia. Wonderful to have Australia here. It felt drawn to share any message for me. I am open to hearing them. Good day, mate. Yeah, if I tune into you, I don't know why, but I'm getting, and I've heard this term before, so understand I've heard this term before, but this is what's come to me to give to you. It's time for a walkabout. You know what that means. It's time for a walkabout. You need to do that. There are Aboriginal people who will help you to facilitate what this needs to be for you. For you. They're saying to open the other half of yourself. They're saying the walkabout will help to open the other half of yourself. Wow, thank you. That's really cool. Hi, Liz. Good to see you. Someone's saying, hi. Karen is asking, will I get better, please? There is so much going on, folks. There is so much good and so much evil on this planet. And unfortunately, there's a greater imbalance towards evil and fear. But Karen, I want to say this to you. This is what I'm being given to give to you. You need to honor your body with, yes, like your heart needs to be open more. Like they're saying physically, they're saying you physically need to keep your shoulders back more. You need to keep your heart chakra, your heart center open more. And when you do that, ask for guidance. Ask to be shown what you should eat and what you should drink. But you can only receive this information if you open up the heart center. Shoulders back, allow the heart center to open. You've got it really closed off. Open your heart center and you'll feel the difference. But keep it open and ask, what should I eat? What should I drink? That will help with the immediate thing from the biological perspective. That's what they're telling me. So I'm just passing it on to you. A lot of people struggling with that right now. When you realize what's been done to humanity by these dark ones, people don't. A lot of the Christians know this, that there is evil. They know there is evil, and there is. Even the Muslim faith, the Jewish faith, they all know that evil exists. But what most people don't know is evil hides in the faces of the men and the women that would tell you to do things that you know in all good conscience are wrong. And they would convince you that that which is wrong is right, and that which is right is wrong. Be very mindful, for they're in the most trusted positions in your lives. Be careful what you listen to and to whom you listen to and what it will cause in your life. They have turned you against one another in so many ways. And you must remember that you are of love. So watch out for evil, because they come in the faces of, we're here to keep you safe. We like you. We want what's best for you. You do this and you'll be feeling better. So many people have been manipulated by the deception of the wolf in sheep's clothing. Watch out, because they're not done yet, folks. And if you don't wake up and realize that government is to serve, not to control, you must remember this. Jesus tried to wake everybody up to that 2,000 years ago. Government was supposed to serve, not to control. And you all know what he did to them, what they did to him then, right? He's back here, by the way. He is back. Not as you would remember him from what you've been told, but he is definitely back in this world. And things are starting to move along. You're going to start to see the darkness begin to crumble before our very eyes. It is happening right now. And you're seeing the wickedness that's been propagated, what they've done to our children and what they've done to you. But your body will heal if you ask, keep your heart center open. What do I need to eat? What do I need to drink? And you walk out and go into the world and you'll know. And if you listen, because they talk to us all the time, they tell you, don't eat that. That was in the beginning. William, stop drinking coffee. I remember that. You have to stop drinking coffee. It was one of the hardest things I had to do, was stop drinking coffee. Right? You can't eat that anymore. No more of those, what were they? Icy squares. I used to love icy squares. No more of that. You can't eat that. It's bad for you, dangerous. You have to eat this fruit, eat this vegetable, eat these things. And you, all of you know, just because something tastes good doesn't mean it's good for you. Anyway, they've got you in so many different ways. Remember, 80% of you, 80% of the population at the very beginning, John was saying 80% of you understood how to grow your own food. Now, 97% of you are dependent on the government for food. Think about that. What position does that place you in if they suddenly shut the food supply off? Right? Think about that. 80% used to grow their own food in North America just 130 years ago. 80%. Right? And the few family farmers that are left are Only about 1 or 2% of them are privately owned farms still. Not a large number. So be careful. Oh, we got that already. Lots of questions. Again, if you don't hear, I'll check my other device and see if we got any questions coming in. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Someone's saying, people seem to come out of nowhere to bother myself and my child at times. I set a protection, but sometimes it doesn't seem to work. Why is this? Because your protection is against something. And if I'm putting something to protect myself, that implies that you are preparing to protect yourself. That is an invitation to be protected, to correct this, You simply need to say, only love enters this space, only love leaves this space, not as a mechanism to protect yourself, but to establish an intention of energy that will be far more favorable as to what you will attract. For if only love enters this space and only love leaves this space, then you are calling love forth into your existence. Thank you for those wonderful stars and stripes and super chat. Thank you so much. Remember that. When you put protection up, you're implying something's going to attack you. You don't want to do that. You want to put up just only love enters my space, only love leaves my space. I'm not against anything when I do that. I'm just saying the truth. Only love enters this space. Only love leaves this space. And that's a vibration. When what John was saying earlier, when you think a thought, it comes into the brain. Once you have the thought, it's in the brain now, and it creates an energy that affects the nervous system, that creates a field. And you'll learn all of this in our master classes. You'll learn about how you generate a field with your body. You learn how to change the field. You learn how to meditate. You're going to learn to do things that are necessary to awaken yourself, to be free of the matrix, to be free of what everybody's been doing to everybody else here. It's nonsense. Good morning. Hi there. Can I talk about Reiki and the difference between it and quantum healing? There's no difference, really. There's no difference, except in quantum healing, you might include imagery. You might communicate directly to a cellular consciousness. But Reiki and quantum healing are essentially the same thing. In the hands of a real Reiki master practitioner, healing can happen instantaneously, and so it can in the quantum field. But in Reiki, there's a more mindful process. In Reiki, the facilitator is sure to allow the energy that the individual requires and needs at the time that they're receiving it. That what needs to be done shall be done as it's needed. So there's no sense of force or intention. It's a form of passive allowing the energy of healing to move through the healer into the subject or the receiver. Whereas in quantum healing, you're accessing a field of potentialities that is inclusive of all potentials. And you can choose from that quantum potential and request the one that's most effective for that body. And it's essentially the same. It's just you're giving it a different label. Right? Great question, though. I love it. Does Pierre have feelings for me? Ask him. You need to ask them. So many of you are wanting relationship and are wondering, do they think about me? Ask. And if they say no, then it's perfect. You can move on. You can I'm open to the next one. But ask. Give him a chance. Right? And don't live in uncertainty anymore. Go and ask him. You say, I have feelings for you. Do you have feelings for me? Do you feel the same? If he says no, say, well, that's wonderful. And then know that your feelings will be available for somebody else, because there'll be more than Pierre in your life. Yes, Serge, he said yes, absolutely. Yes, your brother. I got the energy of your brother here, and he says he loves you very, very much. Very much. Yeah, it is not lost. It is never lost. He says it's never lost. Thank you, Master Jesus. Jesus brought him to me, and let him say that to you. Very, very much, Serge. Thank you. Yeah. I'm so excited for the master classes. Yes, I noticed you signed up, Polly. Congratulations. We'll look forward to seeing you in March. Very exciting. Very good. Very, very good. Yeah. If you're not, remember to subscribe to my TikTok channel. I could always use more subscribers here. It supports the channel and helps us deliver these messages 4 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. These messages are free, generally speaking, but you can certainly support the channel through super chat feature on YouTube, the Linktree link in my bio on TikTok. You can also subscribe as a member on my TikTok channel. Love having new members. I'm still trying to figure out what to do for you guys, because you've been so supportive since I came on just a few months back. So yeah, to my subscribers on TikTok, thank you guys. It really does help. Every little bit helps. And to all my subscribers on YouTube, thank you as well. Remember again, if you've liked and enjoyed what you've experienced and heard here, remember to like, subscribe, share, give it thumbs up, boost the algorithm so it reaches other people, so more people get this knowledge, this information that comes through. Everybody's deserving of the truth. Everybody's deserving to have the wisdom and knowledge available to them that they need. Everybody. You did not come here to suffer. You came here to create. Thank you so much. I think I got time for one more question today, guys. And then, yes, I got that. We have some time. I still love to spend a few hours with you guys, but I have some things to get done today. Yeah, we got that already. Got that already. Wow, thank you so much. Well, will my right broken femur and neck heal so that I may walk? Will be normal again? I can speak from personal experience that there is a way that what you can do, okay? Because many years ago, before they were talking to me, before I knew much of what I know now, I was working with a mentor, and I jumped off a 12-foot fence. I was living on an island. I jumped off this 12-foot fence, and I broke my right heel bone into 4 separate pieces, tore all the ligaments and tendons from the ankle bone down, and I had to go to the hospital, and they drilled a 5.5-inch pin through the back of my right heel. And my mentor came down to the hospital after the surgery, and he threw Gray's Anatomy at me. He threw the book Gray's Anatomy at me. And he said, listen, study the foot. Study what you want your foot to look like. Tell your body what you want it to do. Tell the bones how to heal. Tell the ligaments. Show them with your mind. And he was very insistent. So I opened up Gray's Anatomy, and I began to study the bone. They called it the heel bone. Then it's called the os calcis, right? So I began to study all the bones and the tendons and ligaments. And I began to visualize and see the bone being perfect the way it was in the Gray's Anatomy. No more lines. It was perfectly clear. I was told that the process, because of the wound in the foot, would take me up to 2 years to learn to walk again properly. That's what I was told by the doctor who was my specialist, Dr. Evans, out of Toronto East General Hospital. And I was told it would take up to 2 years before I'd be able to walk normally. By the end of the first week, when I started doing what my mentor told me to do, just visualizing and saying to the bone, heal this way, come back together this way, and seeing the muscles and tendons and nerves all connecting back together, and seeing it clearly picture. I had those pictures of Gray's Anatomy, which are immaculate. So I visualized and communicated that. He said, communicate it to your foot, what you want your foot to do. And inside of a week, they couldn't tell where the breaks in the bones were. At the end of 3 weeks, they removed the pin and I was able to bear weight on the foot. And the doctor, my Dr. Evans then, he said, what the hell are you doing? And I told him what I was doing. And he said, oh, you mean you're applying mind over matter? And I said, yes. And he just shook his head. Couldn't believe it. Anyway, at the end of the 4th week, he took the cast off and I walked out of the hospital. That's being ignorant. I was ignorant. I was just pure will, pure stubbornness. I didn't think any, because my mentor said it and I believed him. I cherished his wisdom and knowledge. I followed his instructions to the letter. That was my experience. So if you got a copy of Gray's Anatomy around, get a copy of Gray's Anatomy and reimagine every bone, every tendon, every ligament that's connected to the breaks. See them healed and perfect. Your body listens to you. Look, it listens to me. It's listening to me right now. Your body hears you. Every thought that any of you think, your body hears you. Every thought. And I encourage you to do that. Get Gray's Anatomy and communicate to the body what you need to do in a loving way. Go heal, restore, rejuvenate, re-energize. Give it suggestion and information that directs it, and stay fervent and focused on that. And then come back in a week's time and let us know how you're doing. I really appreciate it. Let's see what's your name here again. Yeah. So Kirby Kilby. I can't quite read the name here because of all this reflected light I got going on. Kendi. Anyway, you know who you are. Come back in a week and let us know what the difference is that you feel in your body. I'm very grateful that you guys have taken the time to join me today. Please join me every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 10 a.m. on Shortcuts for Your Soul for a transmission message from guides, angels, ascended masters, other multidimensional beings, where we also can answer some of your questions and considerations that you might have about your life, your unique situation. And perhaps you might connect to your guides and angels. Sign up for our master classes. There's still a month. Don't wait. Don't wait. You might not be able to get in if you come too late. So register sooner rather than later. Go to williammichaelforbes.com or torontomedium.com to register for your masterclass enrollment. And those of you on TikTok and YouTube, thank you so much, all of you, for being a part of this. Share, like, subscribe. Don't deny others the wisdom that we are all blessed with. Thank you so much. And have yourselves a most wonderful and a joyful day. Bye for now.